Lord, that was bad. That was terrible. Terrible. Let's see. Okay. So that was a terrible wreck I just went past. Hope everybody's alright. And right before that, back up there was about, I would say about 40 state troopers. Yeah, they're looking for some guy who apparently murdered somebody, and they think they got him cornered in a lot back up there behind a plant, some kind of manufacturing plant. The dude's probably in Florida by now. Been looking for him for 3 days, and I think they got him backed up in a field. That ain't gonna happen. He's probably headed to Cuba. But some guy murdered somebody, and he's on the run. Been on the run for 3 days, and I mean, cops are literally standing in the median back there with AKs or whatever it is they use. But I mean, it was not a shotgun. It had to be a AR or something like that. Chester County, South Carolina. Going home, check on my babe. See what kind of night she had. Didn't get to text her last night. I was kind of busy at work. She didn't text me, so hopefully she slept well. Hopefully she slept well. She hasn't been doing too good. She's been throwing up. No, she's not eating. So I don't know what exactly she has on her stomach to throw up. So she's been out of the hospital for a week and a half. Or did she go in a week and a half ago? Yeah, she went in a week and a half ago. She went in last Monday. So 10 days ago. And she came out Wednesday or Thursday. But ever since she came home, she hasn't got up out of bed. I mean, she's got up out of bed, but she's just going back and forth to the bathroom. You know, she's had a couple visitors. She'll come in and sit for a while with them, and she has to go like right back and lay down. And they're saying she's lost more weight. She's probably down to the 90s now. I know she got down to 98 pounds when she was in the hospital in November. I think it was November. And right after the hospital, I got pictures of her. She looked pretty rough right at the hospital. As far as her weight, you can really see her collarbone sticking out and stuff like that. She's not that small anymore, but she's not in the 90s. She's no more than 105 pounds. I know she's not. And her healthiest weight, she was probably like 144 to 146 is what I know to be her heaviest weight. That was quite a few years ago. That was like right after our last child. I got pictures of her like that too. I'm gonna get. I'm not too good with editing and making little slideshows and stuff like that, but I want to make a video of, like, you know, pre-cancer and then like after or while during the radiation and chemo and all that she took last year. In February of last year, it started out it was going to be 4 weeks of chemo and external radiation and 2 weeks of internal radiation. It turned out to be 6 weeks of chemo and external radiation, and 3 or 4 weeks of internal. And see, that's where I think the mistake was made. I think it was a very fast-growing mass, and I forget what they called it. She had some kind of non-cancerous tumors also, but I don't remember what they called them. But they wasn't worried about them. But what happened was, when they did the internal radiation, they get they get as close up on as they can. The way she described it, it's like a 3-prong, I don't want to get too technical here. So she said the prong in the middle, of course, is the one that's got the wires going to it. I'm guessing she was saying it. That's probably the radiation, and like the radiologist told us, they tried to get as close up on the mass as possible on the internal radiation. See, and what that done. Now as soon as we found out she had cancer, it was cervical cancer. It was stage 2B2, something like that. I didn't know this. I don't know if it goes for all cancers, but it's like, okay, so if you got stage 1, you got stage 1A, 1 and 2. You got stage 1B, 1 and 2. C, 1 and 2, and then stage 2. And that goes for all of them. Stage 2, A, 1 and 2, B, 1 and 2, C, 1 and 2, and then stage 3. So she got she started at like a 2A2 or 2B1 or something like that. She went all the way to a 3B2 or 3C1. Yeah, she was like 1 step, 2 steps away from 4, and it was already in the lymph nodes the first time. Yeah, about the protein drink. Yeah, I'm trying to keep telling her. I just mentioned that to her the other night. I didn't think of protein drinks, the Ensure and stuff like that. But yeah, she's gonna have to start eating something. I mean, she's drinking ginger ale, said that helped with the nausea. And she's taking what's it called, Finnegan. Yeah, she's taking Finnegan, and like put it on under your tongue, on your tongue, it dissolves or whatever. And I had to call hospice night before last, and because she thought she's belching real bad. She thought that she was throwing up poop. And the reason I say that is because, see, what happened is she's got a colostomy, so when they did the internal radiation, it pierced a hole in her colon, and not too many people, I don't think anybody's asked, but that's why she's not available for treatment. So when it came back, and we knew about the recurring issues with cervical cancer, everyone we had talked to when she first found out, while she was going through the chemo and all that, everybody we talked to that had it, knew somebody had it, it came back the second time with every single one. So we knew to be looking out for that. And plus, as soon as we found out, she already had a lymph node that was swollen in her pelvic area. So I didn't know it at the time, but after doing my research, found out that you could have up to 700, I think, lymph nodes in your body. I didn't know that either. It ranges anywhere from person to person, from 500 to 700 lymph nodes, and it's just like the blood in your blood vessels, and your heart pumps the blood through the blood vessels. His lymph nodes has got some kind of fluid. I guess you say like a fluid, and it travels through to the lymph nodes, and that's what picks up the cancer cells and takes it to other parts of the body. So after I figured that out, I started worrying about it. I didn't tell her immediately, but I did sooner or later. But yeah, so it started out as like a 2.9 centimeter mass, and within 6 or 8 weeks, it went from 2.9 to the next one was like a 3.2. The next scan, a few weeks later, it was 3.7 to 3.9 to 4.1, all the way up to like a 4.5, and her cervix only measured 6 centimeters. So you're talking about 4.5 centimeter mass, 6 centimeter cervix. So the way I explain it, it's like a baseball. Like a baseball sitting inside a softball. So get your baseball, and you would have like sitting around like that. I mean, that's about how big it was. It was scary, and now that I think about it, it's nothing nowhere near as scary as it is now. I don't even want to think about that, but about to miss my turn. I know I should be driving doing this, but I'm paying attention. I'm going to stop Hardee's to get us a biscuit. Hope y'all have a good day. That's part of her story. But yeah, let me finish off on that. She it pierced a small hole in her colon, and the radiologist explained to us that, why they never did a hysterectomy. I see somebody come in and said they had cervical cancer back in the early 90s and did a hysterectomy, and it was fine. Well, that was the first question I asked, was why can't she have a hysterectomy done? And the lady doctor at the hospital actually told me this. This is her exact words. So, no, we can't do that. That's what holds everything up. I don't understand. I don't understand what she meant by that. Now, they was talking about, like, tacking, because at first they thought it was a prolapsed bladder, or prolapsed uterus. They sent us to a OB clinic, like a 24/7 clinic. The hospital did, and we got there. The lady that examined her there thought it was her uterus prolapse. Said it, that she felt something that was calcified, is the word she used. And Joni was worried from that point forward. She said that spot that she was talking about was calcified. She said that worries me, because she had abnormal pap smears all the way back to like her late teens, early 20s. So this is what would happen. This is the reason she stopped going to her regular OB yearly exams, or I think they're yearly. I did see somebody comment, not in the U.S., but I think it was from Australia, that over there, when they see their OB, they want them to do it only every 4 years after that. But I'm here to tell you, ladies, you need to have it done every year. If they find something, have it checked out. But she would go for her yearly appointments. It would come up irregular. She would have to go back. They would somehow take a small sample, send it off. It'd come back as cancerous. Get a call, have to come back. And then the whole time, I remember this when she got pregnant with our first daughter, or the first time she went to OB after we first met. Had the irregular pap smear, had to go back. They took some kind of sample, sent it off, came back cancerous. And then they tell you this, so you're thinking, oh my God, she got cancer. Well, after that, she would have to go back in, and from what I understand, they scraped her walls, her vaginal walls. So, yeah, I'm sure it's pretty painful. She said it was very painful. To get a better sample. And then they send that off, and then you gotta wait, a week and a half. And it always come back as a false positive test. So it was, it comes back as irregular pap smear. Go back, they take a sample, send it off, say it's cancerous, and they scrape the walls, get a more representative sample, I guess. And she always attributed it to her last OB, always attributed it to caffeine and nicotine. I don't know why. She said, it's not that irregular for people to have, abnormal pap smears or irregular pap smears. It's not that, it happens more than you think. And they say the prolapse happens more than you think. They say there's women that come in the clinic that we went to. They say there's women that come in with jogging pants on, and it's actually their insides are hanging out almost to their knees. I can't imagine. But yeah, that's what happened. So the radiologist explained to us that if she listened to him and done everything she was supposed to do, that she would be fine. But he told her, he said, radiation is like your microwave. It's heating up your female organs, and you're going to heal back, and it's just going to be like a blob. So when they took her colon out after they found, because she had pockets, because she told me one day, she was like, fill up on her, she ain't like she had a belly, she had this, like a little pooch or whatever, and like right up under her abdomen was like, how you get like a blister, and if you've ever got like a bad blister and it's like a water blister, your fluid builds up inside of it. That's kind of the way it felt. And this was about 2.5 months after they said she was cancer free. She didn't even make it to a 3-month checkup. And that's what was going on. So she was, the waste was going inside of her body, and they put tubes in. At one time she had 4 tubes in her trying to drain it out. And they tried for 8-10 weeks to get all the infection out. And that's what got her down to 98 pounds. That's what got her to where, her body just can't take, because it's just poison. That's all it is. That's all chemo is. She was going every day she was going 1 day a week for the chemo, and every day, or 5 days a week, for the radiation. So on the day she had chemo, she would have to leave at like 6:30 and get to the office to do radiation at 7. Leave there, drive 30 minutes, and this is when COVID started, so they shut down the office in our town. So she had, instead of driving 7 minutes across town to do radiation every day, she started to have to drive 30 minutes. Or me and her father, her father took her most of the time then, because I was still working and all this. And my plans was to take FMLA time, and I was going to take it towards the end where the internal radiation, and they say, it's you could get blisters and you burn all up, and she was just, she was literally crying to use the bathroom. When the internal radiation was going on. So that's a little bit of her story and why she can't take treatment. She has real strong faith. Yeah, I'm so proud of her. So proud of her. I always kid with her. The whole time she was pregnant with both children, she complained the whole 9 months, both times. And not that I thought that when the cancer came around, but I thought, well, she's not going to take this. She's not be able to handle this too well. She is a trooper. Son, I would have been and gave up. I would have been screaming like a little, what? I'd have been, she's a trooper. She's a fighter, so you never know. I believe she's got the faith in God. She tells everybody, and she's told everybody this whole time, I'm going to be at Carolina Panthers Stadium telling my testimony and how God healed me. And my question is, what if that's not his plan? What if that's not God's plan? And my dad's a pastor. So he's a third generation. So his father was a pastor. His grandfather was a pastor. All Church of God, Pentecostal holiness. Yeah, so I grew up as a pastor's child, preacher's kid. And the preacher's kids are the worst. I know. That's what they say. That's not always true. My brother takes up enough for mine and his part on that, so he's bad enough for me and him together. So I always felt like I had to be twice as good to make up for his part. So, and I seen somebody said, "Oh, you're such a great couple," and this, and y'all belong together. Look, we've been through troubles just like any other relationship out there. We've been through some absolute, horrible times, and it can't get no more horrible than this. But I tell you, it seems like every time we get to the top of the hill, it goes back all the way to 10 years ago. We lost our home, we lost our cars, we had a little camper, we had a camper, I had a new truck, she had a brand new car, I had a used truck. I bought a used truck, but it was still a nice truck. All that was taken. We lost our home, car, truck, everything. We never thought we'd be able to be back in a home and it be what we have now. We have 5 acres. We have an in-ground swimming pool. The Lord sent the job that I have now, and I'm very thankful for it. And one thing I prayed when my oldest child was young, I prayed over her every night that there'd be no sickness, no, not even a little cold, no sniffles, no coughs, no colds, no stomach bugs, no nothing. And I prayed to God. I said, God, if any sickness or any kind of sickness has to come into this family, put it on me instead of my children. Put it on me instead of my wife. And I thought me and God had that worked out, but that's not the way it worked out. Trust me, I would take her place if I could. I really would. I wish I could bear the pain for her. I really do. But we're no, no better than anybody else. We've had our ups and downs, but going back several years ago, it seems like we get up barely to the top of the hill. We'd see the top of the hill, and we'd be, at first it was like a shove back down the hill. And then the next time we get back climbing that hill, we get back on our feet again. And the next time it was like a slap, pow, down the hill. Back down the hill. Get up, brush yourself off, start marching back up that hill. That's the way I explain it. And that next time wasn't a slap. The next time was a punch. Knocked back down the hill. We always brushed ourselves off. We always got back up. We always tried again. And this one right here was, we had got the house. We closed on the house. We had been in the house about a year. I had the job about a year and a half. And we was right there at the peak of 2 steps away from the top of the hill. From the top of the mountain. We was on cloud 9. This one wasn't a slap. It wasn't a punch. This was like a gun straight to the face. Straight to the head. And just blew us all the way off the mountain. And it's been a rough journey. And it's like a dream. It's like an unending nightmare that you can't wake up from. That's the only way I know to explain it. Sometimes I still want to wake up from it. And sometimes I still can't wrap my mind around it. I can't wrap my mind around why. Or that it's real. And it takes me, I've never had anyone close to me pass away. My father's mother and father, and I had all my grandparents up till into my 30s, or my late 20s at least. I'm 40, and Johnny's 40. And I wasn't that close with my father's parents. They had 7 kids, and grandkids and great grands and all that. So, and they didn't live nearby. Well, my mother's parents I was close with, but when we moved to where we are now, which was 2.5 hours away from my mother's parents, my grandparents on my mom's side, when they passed away, it's been 5 years since my grandma passed away, maybe 4. In the last couple years, I didn't visit them but twice a year. And the last 2 years, I don't think I visited them but Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, for a few hours, and then drive back home. So when they passed away, it was just in my mind that, and I haven't been back to see their house. Their house is now sold. It's somebody else's. They redone it. I think I needed that closure there, because it's like they're still 2.5 hours away, and I just haven't seen them in a long time. So I've never lost anyone close, and I don't know that what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know that I've really had closure with their passing. That would be the closest, to me that I had passed. Now, Joni's mom passed away. Me and Joni's been together 12 years. And that was hard. I'm sure very hard for her. I wasn't there for her like I should have been with him when her mother passed. I had broke my ankle and had to have surgery. And She passed the day after I had surgery. So I couldn't be there for her. Stage 4 lung cancer. This cancer, man. And I see these people talking about taking this. It's I forget this, the long word, but it's dog dewormer. I'm not gonna give my wife dog dewormer. I wouldn't take it. Thank you, Paula. I guess anything. I guess anything's. I don't know. I would try anything to fix it, but I would think that would make her sicker. To give her a dog dewormer, but that's exactly what it is. Somebody told me to check it out, and they keep talking about the RSO, the oil or whatever, the Rick Simpson oil, Rick James, I don't know, something like that, Rick Simpson oil. But as far as her, not being able to eat and her pain and stuff, and her pain's getting to where it's getting better. She's on. Now, they had to adjust this pump several times, and now, as they said, she is at the medication she was taking by mouth just 2 weeks ago. She was at an amount. Hospice said that she was at an amount that they give in end of life patients that are their last days. I mean, literally their last days alive. This is what that would be the amount they would give. She said some of the end of life patients they didn't even give that much to. But you got to think about it. She's been since October November, October when she was in the hospital. Intravenous. What's it called? Dilaudid. So from then until 2 or 3 weeks ago, yeah, I wouldn't want to try. I wouldn't want to try no dog dewormer. I just don't know. I think that would make them sicker, but I don't know. Stranger things. I don't know, but she's got high tolerance now, so I'm going to try to get her some CBD oil or some kind of something, THC or CBD, one or the other. Now, I've taken CBD gummies. I bought them at the beach when we was at the beach a year or two ago, and they're pretty expensive, but I didn't really notice much of a difference. Now, I didn't get like a 12-pack or something like that. You're supposed to chew like two gummies a day, and so I don't think I tried enough to even feel anything, but because I didn't do a day back to back. I skipped a few days here and there, so I don't think I did it enough. But we're in South Carolina, so we don't have dispensaries and stuff like that, so it's not, we can't. I wish I could, they could put her on some edibles or something like that where that could help with her pain, but we're in South Carolina. In the South, it's religious. We're very religious in the South. But this Hardy's line's getting long, and I gotta get to my bait. So, God bless everybody. Thanks for the thoughts, prayers. Keep praying for us, and you're gonna see some wonderful things. And you're gonna see, if you follow this page, And somebody said, well, why would you put your wife in that much pain? Why would you video it and put it online? Well, that wasn't my plan at first. God has laid a heavy, heavy burden on me that if she don't make it, then I've got to help as many people as I can to go to these doctor's appointments, go to their yearly exams, not just females, but mostly females. Cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer. Just go for your checkups. Males, females, everybody, go for your doctor checkups. And I haven't even been myself, but I'm going to go. I've had stomach troubles for years, and they say it's irritable bowel syndrome. It could, I took the medication for several years, and it worked, and then it stopped, and then I got, put on another medication. It worked for years, and I stopped, and they want to do endoscopy and all that. I haven't had it done. I think I'm going to go ahead and have that done. They think it's either Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. But God's laid a heavy burden on my heart to get the awareness out there for these especially the cervical cancer, the ovarian cancer, all the female cancers. Joni might not make that Carolina Panthers stadium. It might be me one day having to tell her story. And that might, and if that's what God has in plan for me, that I'll do that. If it can save one life, then it's worth it. Joni's hard-headed. She's the type. I can't say nothing. Like I said, I haven't got checked out, but I haven't been to the doctor. But those 7 weeks that she didn't go get checked out will always be the thing that makes me wonder if she would have went, would they have caught it soon enough? Because when we took her to the hospital, and they thought it was prolapse. She bent down one day. This is December 2019. She bent down to pick something up, and she said it was like being pregnant and feeling very, very heavy. And when she bent down to pick it up, she felt like she wet herself. She went to the bathroom, checked. She had a couple spots of blood. She told me about it. She wanted me to check her. And I just wasn't. I said, babe, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what. And she's, bless her heart, she said, well, we married. You should know more about it than I do. And I was like, I don't know the female anatomy that great. I don't remember 8th grade, what was it, health class back then, or sex education or whatever. I don't remember it well enough to. Now I know because I've researched it. I've done all that. I know where the cervix is. And it's strange that our oldest child, she had to have a C-section because the cervix opens up. It's got like the two little things, and it opens up. Well, what happened was my daughter was upside down or whatever, and so my daughter finally turned, and Joni dilated the full 10 centimeters, all that. She dilated and everything, but the cervix part that opens up, the little flap, it got swollen, and as the baby's pushing, as Joni was pushing, the cervix part was too swollen for the baby to come out. So I don't know, it just something always ties back to that cervix like that. CA-125 for ovarian cancer. I didn't know that. And yeah, Johnny told me. She said, if something happens to me, and I wanted 2 girls. I wanted daughters. Now they're as tomboy as they can get, but I got my 2 daughters. Emma's she's showing out. She's not taking it well. And she's like I was when I was that age, very shy and bashful. And I just know how she is. I know how I was. You're not going to get that child's feelings out. And I still am kind of that way, but you're just not going to do it. You couldn't pay her for her to tell you how she feels. So, we're going to, they're offering for her to see a specialist and to talk to somebody, like a psychiatrist or something like that. And the hospice nurse told us the other day, said if they're offering that, then you need to take that chance if she'll talk to somebody. And I've told her, I said, darling, I know you're angry. We all are. I know you're upset, you're sad, you're mad. I understand that. I said, but if you got to talk to your mama, you need to talk to me. If you need to walk out in the woods and talk to God. If you need to talk to a doctor, a friend, the neighbors. Our neighbors have 2 little girls. The oldest one's a year younger than Emma, our oldest, and their youngest is a year older than our youngest. So theirs is 8 and she's about to be 9 and 7, and ours is 6 and about to be 11, or 11 and about to be 7. Either way, so yeah, they play with them a lot. And I told her, I said, I understand, but you need to talk to somebody. But she's not taking it well. And like I said, I was the exact same way. Bashful, shy. You're just not going to get those feelings. She's not, and she's just showing out. My mom and dad staying with us to help out with the kids and to help out with Johnny and all while I work and all that. But she shows out. My mom will call me and say, your daughter says she's not going to school today. And I mean, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to spank them? I mean, for being mad or for being mad that they're losing their mother? Am I going to spank them for that? My youngest one, she's not. Johnny's told her, she said, no, one day, I'm not always going to be here. She told both of them at the same time that. I'm not always going to be here. She said, I'm going to be Johnny loves butterflies. So she said, I'm going to be a blue butterfly one day. So when you see a blue butterfly, that'll be me. So my little one kind of knows, she says, oh, you're going up to heaven, you're going to see Nana, and you're going to see Josie, which would be my grandma, Papa, which would be my grandfather. But, so, and I started the GoFundMe page up because Johnny doesn't have life insurance. And I thought I had everything figured out in life. I was proud for Johnny to be a stay-at-home mom. I was proud for my kids to have their mother there with them. I was proud. I was praising God to get this job that I have now, knowing that she would never have to go back to work in the factory again. But when we first started, we was contractors for the company. We didn't work for the company, so we didn't have benefits. So when we did get hired on, I tried to get the life insurance and all. By the time we got hired on, when it came back around to get the life insurance and all, I opted in for the life insurance. And they took my money all year, but the whole year it always had something up there on her name, pending. But they took my money, but you have to have their health insurance to get their life insurance, which I think sucks, but I feel bad that I don't have everything figured out. I don't have thousands of dollars in the bank. If something happens to her, I'm not. She don't want to be cremated. Her daddy's, my father-in-law. Please don't cremate my daughter. I'm not going to. But I probably couldn't afford that. I'm just a normal person that works and pays the bills. But it's also important to keep your life insurance. Keep your life insurance on your spouse, your kids, and your loved ones. Because I was proud to be that husband, father, took care of family, and that man. I was the man I was supposed to be. By the book, by the Bible, by the never cheated. Yeah, that's what me and Johnny really bonded when we first met, because her ex-husband, she went through the same kind of thing I did with my ex-wife. We both been hurt before and cheated on. And that's one thing we really bonded over. But yeah, I thought I had everything figured out, but I didn't. As far as the life insurance, she don't have any life insurance. And my father-in-law asked me last week, he said, have you have you made any kind of arrangements? And I told him, I said, no, not yet. And he said, well, you need to talk to the funeral home. You need to go and talk to them and pick out a casket and get your services figured out and all that. I just spent $4,000 on a car. Our car broke down. I just bought it. I hadn't had it 8-10 months. 3-4 months ago during the wintertime. We was coming down the interstate. We was in Charlotte, and it started running hot. And I told Johnny, I said, get me off the interstate, because I kept having to pull over on the side of the interstate and let it cool down for 7-8 minutes, start it back up, drive, and it run hot again. I said, get me off this interstate. Well, the first exit we pulled up to, she got me to, there was homeless people at the gas station I stopped at. And so I said, well, we're going to have to stay here overnight. My mom and dad, somebody's going to have to come pick us up, or we're going to have to get the car towed. So I went in the gas station. I asked the person, because we was looking at the closest hotel. And when I went in, there was a guy sitting outside. He said, man, you got some change? I'm like, no, man, I don't have any cash on me. I just walked a mile, went in the store. When I came back out, he was on the other side of the door. I was walking away from him. He's, hey, man, hey, I know you got some money, man. I know you got some money, man. Let me get it off. Well, that really scared my daughters. And I had my family with me. So at that point, I didn't care. I just ran it hot. It ran hot. And I know about cars. And me and my daddy, we like hot rods. We like working on the old cars and stuff like that. So I know not to run a car hot. I had my kids with me. And we pulled out of that gas station. And my oldest one was like, her eyes was just big around. And the hotel that we was looking for was right next door. Because the lady told me at the gas station, she said, it's just the next driveway. So when I pulled in, I went over to at least look at it. And the hotel really didn't look that bad. And I was like, it don't look that bad. And this is where I knew. This is why I run the car hot. My oldest one, she said, Daddy, I don't know. It looks pretty rough. I knew then that she was scared. She was afraid. So, we're in South Carolina. Yeah. We're about an hour south of Charlotte, North Carolina. I can be across into the North Carolina line in about 30, 45 minutes. I can be in Charlotte in about an hour. But we live on the South Carolina side. Both born and raised South Carolina. But my daughter, she was like, yeah, she said, I don't know, Daddy. I don't know if it was the homeless people at the store or because the store was right beside there. But I just ran it hot, and I just said, Joni had seen an actual tow truck was sitting in the parking lot of that store, and she went and talked to him. And I said, Joni, they had AAA on the side, and I said, you're going to have an appointment with them, and you just can't hire them off the side of the street like that. Well, he agreed to, follow us to the downtown area to get a hotel. Well, it ran so hot that the hand ran up all the way as far as it would go, and it reset back down and wasn't even reading anymore. Curious, what's the story? My wife has stage 4 cancer. Spread several places. No life insurance. She's about 105 pounds from 145, 150 healthy pound weight. Yeah. Joni, she wanted to know my feelings. She said, you just act like you don't care. She kept telling me that at first, several months ago. I said, Joni, you can't handle how I feel. And she kept on. And I told her one day, I said, you want to know how I feel? I'll tell you. I said, I was proud. I always told y'all, as long as y'all was happy, I was happy. I worked. I got up every day to make y'all happy. If y'all was happy, I was happy. And I really meant that. I said, Joni, without you, I wouldn't have those 2 children. So, if something happens to you, pretty much, I said, I was happy to be that man that could afford to have a stay-at-home mom And like I say, we had lost our house in 2016. Cars, camper, everything. Personal loans defaulted, everything. Because of losing a job, getting laid off. And going through all that, we never thought we would be able to live in as nice of a house. Because that was a 1,050 square foot home, my first home. 3 bedroom, 1 bath. We have 5 acres now. We have an in-ground pool. It's about a 1,500 square foot house. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's a beautiful home. And right when we was getting to where we could afford these things again, right where we was getting back on our feet, and we was getting to where we could see the top. We always got knocked back down. We'd brush ourselves off and get back up. We'd go climb that mountain again. We'd get back up on our feet. We'd think we was doing good and get knocked right back off our feet. Something would happen. Well, this time it was bad. Like I say, I thought I was the man I was supposed to be, but that's where I messed up. I didn't have life insurance on her. And I'm not speaking death over her because, like I say, I'm a pastor's son. So my daddy's more of like a faith. He's not a hellfire and brimstone pastor. He's more like a faith healing, faith, prosperity type pastor, teacher, preacher is what he calls himself. My daddy hasn't been sick in 25 years. I don't even think he's threw up. He went to Africa on a mission trip for 17 days, and the coolest day was 114 degrees out of those 7 days. Out of those 17 days. And he had a heat stroke, and that was like late 90s. That's the last time he threw up. And before that, it had been years. But he's told me throughout the years, he said, you don't, because, I had, like I said, I had stomach troubles. I always have. As a child, I remember having stomach troubles. And, they just throw it out there as IBS, irritable bowel. Well, you could have Crohn's disease, you could have ulcerative colitis, you could have all kinds of things. But I told him, I said, Pops, he says, if you go around my day and you say, oh, I'm getting a cold, he said, you want me to agree with that? Because you just spoke it. And if you think about it, it makes sense. It's not that I always say it. If you speak it, you're speaking it into existence. But I asked him, I said, well, how I can't deny the fact that my stomach hurts. He said, you don't have to deny it. He said, but, God, in the Bible, it says, where Jesus died for us, he took the 39 stripes for our healing. He said, you have the authority and the word of God. We have the Bible and the word. And you have the authority over it for it not to be there. He said, you talk to your body. You tell it. You put the word in your body and you speak it over your body. And he said that's what he did. He said it took about 1.5 years for his body to align with the words that he was telling it. To most people it wouldn't make sense, or to some people it might not make sense, but thanks, Paula. Have a good day. I'm fixing to get off here. I'm in Hardy's parking lot. I gotta get to Joni, my love. But to some people it might not make sense, but it's just the power of positive thinking, and with a godly spin on it, a Christian spin on it. Just don't claim it. Don't claim what you don't want. Don't claim sickness. Joni says, oh, I have cancer. And, they asked us, she wanted to have a PET scan redone, 2 or 3 months ago. And, they've told us, well, this is what is going to happen. This is how I was raised. So you know what I mean? You speak to your body, and it lines up, right? But, so they was asking us, Jonah, like, why do you want to have, this is, we was told months ago, this is what's going to happen. This is the way it's going to happen. It's going to grow. Their tumors are going to grow, and this is going to happen. This is going to happen. They're going to get bigger, and you're going to have sickness, and there's going to be lots of pain. And, eventually you're going to pass away from it. Well, they asked her and said, well, why do you want to have another one scan done? She said, well, I want to see where my cancer is at. And I finally told her, I said, when they ask you that, you tell them that we are looking for it to not be there when they do the scan. That we are looking for it to be gone. We are looking for God to have healed you, to have already done it. Now, I don't know, is that Karma Joe? I don't know if this is how you thought too, but when you ask God for something, you thank Him for it in advance. And if you want something, you claim it. And you thank Him for it. If you want that car, you say, that's my car. It's going to be my car. I'm going to have a car like that right there. Don't settle. Don't settle for, I say don't ever settle. Because something could always be better. God wants us to have the best life possible. And a lot of people aren't, as Christians, when we've lost our way as Christians, because one thing, the most important thing as Christian people we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be testifying. And I can't remember the last time somebody come at me in public and testified about God, Jesus, and all this. And as when I was growing up, I couldn't even watch Bart Simpson. I couldn't even watch The Simpsons because they would say, a couple small curse words. But, and I asked my daddy this, I said, well, why was it not okay for me to watch The Simpsons over them saying hell or, excuse my language, but damn it, or something like that? But now we can watch, like we like hot rods, like I said, and old cars and drag racing and stuff like that. Why can we watch Street Outlaws and it be a GD and it bleep out only the G? I mean, it bleep out G but still say damn. Why? I mean, it's like we've relaxed over the years, and everything, when I grew up, the first church my daddy had, it was one of those old-time Pentecostal churches where it was a sin to wear makeup. It was a sin to wear jewelry. Those are man-made sins, but it wasn't really a sin, but that's what, One lady hadn't even cut her hair in like 35 years. But that's what I told John. I said, if they ask you again why you want to have a scan done, you tell them that you're looking for this to be gone. You were looking for not a tumor to be there. No tumor, no cancer. Healed. Because Jesus already paid that price for us. Jesus already paid for our sins. He already paid for our healing. You just have to believe it and speak it over yourself. But I see I got a good many people in the pay on the stream now. But for you, those of you who's just now joining, I'm fixing to jump off here. But my wife, she started out with cervical cancer. That's I don't know if y'all can see it. It says Mokushla. And y'all ever seen $1 Million Baby Clint Eastwood did? You'll understand. It means my darling, or the breath of my breath. but that's for her. And cervical cancer, the teal, the turquoise. She had cervical cancer. She had chemo, radiation, external and internal radiation done. February, she started last year with chemo, radiation, and February, March, April, May, June, end of May, I want to say the end of May, she was declared cancer-free. August, she was right back because the internal radiation had pierced a hole in her colon, and the colon had to be removed. So basically, the hole in her colon, all her waste was going all around the inside of her body. So she was septic infection, really bad. Now, like I said, at one time they had 4 tubes coming out of her belly, trying to drain all this out. Now, when they took the colon out, I asked why did they not try to, like a dentist would, with the suction, did they not try to get all that waste out? And my sister-in-law, she's Tony's sister, she's in the medical field and has been for the last 20 years. And she said, well, you got to think about it, all that waste settled down in behind her organs. So it's not like they could get it all out. So she got down to 98 pounds. She was in the hospital for 8 or 10 weeks. No, it was longer than that. It was like 12 weeks. 10 or 12 weeks. She got down to 98 pounds. Like I say, I'm not too good with doing the slideshows and stuff like that. But I got some pictures I want to do show how healthy she was and what she looked like when she was healthy, and show right when she got out of the hospital if her collarbone, you could almost put your fingers through there. I mean, you probably could have. I didn't do it. I didn't want to hurt her or nothing, but her little wrist now ain't maybe that big around. She wears, if you watch the video I took over yesterday, she's doing like a high five type thing, and her little bracelet, bless her heart, it's all the way down on her. It's all the way down on her forearm, and it's a normal size bracelet. And I lay beside her when I'm off. I'm there with her. I lay beside her, and a lot of people have commented on my videos, well, you're just laying there on the phone. Well, some of those videos is me laying my weight against her. She has a weighted blanket. It's like 15 pounds, but she says the weight of me is better. And I put all my weight on her, and I have to ask her, I'm like, is that okay? But she'll curl her legs up. She said her bones and her legs hurt so bad. She's been in stage 4 cancer now. They gave her a year in August of 2020. So we're coming up almost on that year. Well, a few more months would be that year. Originally, when she first got out of the hospital, they told her that wasn't the cancer. It came back. They didn't know the hole was in the colon at the time, and after the colon, she's got a bag now, so she had a colostomy done, and she had several blockages in her large intestine, and she's had some blockages since then. And when I'm at home, I have to. If you see me in my videos, and I'm laying, with the phone like that, I'm laying on her. I'm putting my weight on her. So, people's like, oh, you're sitting there doing nothing. You should be doing it. But every time she's in major pain, I call hospice. I call the nurse. At this point, they want her to go into the hospice house, which is basically like the hospital, but it's hospice nurses. And they'll just keep giving her medicine making her more comfortable until she passes away. Sorry about that, Brandy. I'm so sorry. They're helping her with the pain management. I was saying earlier, for some of you that wasn't on, I've been on here for a good while now. She was on so much medication. She was on fentanyl patches, 100 milligrams. She changed it every 3 days. She was on 2 oxy 30 milligrams every 4 hours. She was on 2 milliliters, 2 mLs of morphine under the tongue every 2 hours. And still was moaning and groaning all day and all night. So they put her in the hospital for 3 or 4 days. It's been 10 days now, 11 days. So a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago, she went in. They put a morphine pump in. They've adjusted it several times. It's still not really take care of the pain, but some of the videos, the very first couple of videos I posted was, she's moaning and groaning. If you check it out, you'll see it. It's not fun to watch. It's not something I ever thought that I would go through. It's terrible. It's terrible to have to watch them. Like I said, I thought I had everything figured out. And I didn't. I don't have life insurance on it. And like I was saying, I just spent $1,600 on my car because it ran hot. I had my family with me. And this has been since she had cancer. And this was only like 3 or 4 months ago. My car ran hot in Charlotte, and I had my children with me. And I had to pull over several times on the side of the interstate. And I told my wife, get on the maps and get me off the interstate. And as soon as we got to the interstate, there was homeless people begging for money. And, hey, man, I know you got some money. And it scared my children. And I didn't care about the car then. I just ran it until we got to downtown. Had spent $260 on the hotel room that night. But I'd have spent $567 to have my family safe than, staying at the hotel beside where the homeless people hanging out at the gas station, literally next door. Because my oldest child was like, oh, the hotel don't look that bad. And my oldest one was like, I don't know, Daddy. She's kind of shy and bashful, so she said that, I wasn't worried about it then. But, just check my videos out. Try to, like somebody commented last night, said, it's like a Living with Cancer series or something like that. It's real life. This is real life. And, you think, you feel bad for people like that. If I'd heard this years ago, I'd have felt bad for somebody in the situation. But you never think it'd be you. Kids are 10, fixing to be 11 and 7 this year. 10 and 6 right now. Yeah, it's real life. It's not something I thought I would ever go through. We would ever go through. And I don't know why. I don't know why I don't know why we're having to go through it. I don't know why. I might not ever know why. But, like I said, Joni, my wife, she wasn't the type. She was the type that had irregular pap smears with her at her OBGYN. So, she would have irregular pap smears going all the way back to her late teens, early 20s. I remember when we first got together, the first time she went. So she would have irregular pap smears. She would have to go back. And they would take a sample, send it off. It would come back as cancerous. Then she'd have to go back, and they would tell us this. And then, of course, we would freak out thinking she had cancer. And then they would have to go in and scrape. Yeah, she says it's as painful as it sounds. Scrape and get like better sample to send off, and it would always come back as a false positive cancer test. It come back as cancer. I'd go in to scrape, send that off. It would come back as a false positive. So she just stopped going, because every time she would go, this is what she'd have to do. And mind you, not only would she have to go back 3 times, you're thinking that you've got cancer. They're telling you that you're positive for cancer. And if they got to scrape your walls and send it off, and, the stress and all that, the emotion and all that you have to go through all that, she just stopped going. Now, would it have saved her in time? I don't know. But, like I said, God has laid it on my heart to let not only females, but males, females, whoever, get your checkups done. Go every time. And if they see something, have it checked out. And just have everything checked out. Because it could happen to anybody. But I'm gonna go through the line now. Get baby some food. Get me some food. Go see how she's doing. Y'all check my page out. Y'all pray for us. We thank you for those prayers. I have a video of her from last night. She's sitting out by the pool. It's a great video. It's done in several different segments. You got a GoFundMe page up there. Like I said, she don't have life insurance. And like I said, I just spent $1,600 on my car, and probably have to spend another $1,000 because I put the goo in it to try to seal where I blowed the head gasket. That's what I did when I ran it hot with my kids. So I put that goo stuff in there that's supposed to seal it up, hoping I wouldn't have to put it in the shop. And that just made it worse, because that blocked up the heater core and the radiator. So it's still kind of running warm after I've done spent the $1,600. So it needs probably another $1,000 spent on it. And I spent $2,000 buying this car while that one was in the shop to get back and forth to work. So I've literally spent $3,600 just in the past couple months on vehicles and to get my car that I had just bought. I hadn't had it probably 4 or 5 months when that happened. It was a used car, it wasn't a brand new car, but it's a nice car. It's a 16 Dodge Journey, 3 rows. It's a nice car. So I paid cash money to buy this, and I had a couple $1,000, saved back, and so I had to pay for that. I had to pay $2,200 for this car. It's a 97, but it's got 101,000 miles. Heat works, air works. It might be old Grandpa Crown Vic, but hey, it gets me back and forth to work. But yeah, y'all pray for me, and like I say, check my videos out, and I'll keep posting on here. And I have this first time I've went live, just me and my daughters a couple times, but I tried to do live yesterday, but this is the first time I've ever did anything over a minute or two. I see some of y'all are still in here from maybe when I started, I don't know, but pray for us if you can. I don't like asking nobody to donate shouldn't have to do that. But get a GoFundMe page up if God leads you to donate, you do that. And if you can't afford to or whatever, that's okay too. Joni, trust me, Joni's the type of person, she can get along with anybody. She could be a best friend to anybody. She will talk to anybody. We go to Walmart, she'll be talking to all kind of people she don't even know. And like on the TikTok, she said last night, she said, "I love y'all." And she means that. She would still appreciate the thoughts and prayers. Whether you can donate to her cause, her fund, my plan is to, whether it's $100, $1,000, or $10,000, I want to donate as long as I can, get her final expenses taken care of. Anything past that will be my children's education. They want my children to do summer school this year. And like I say, my children got to be going through a hard time. My oldest one, she's very shy and bashful. She's not going to tell you how she feels. I was that way. But she's they want her to go to summer school, and we need to get some funds up for their schooling. If I ever get to a point where I can't, I might not always be able to afford to have them going where I have them going now. And the only way I have them going now is we put in for grants, and I told them how much I could afford. And I went in thinking, my mom and dad offered to pay for one child if I paid for the other. And it's a Christian, it's a small Christian school. And boy, as my daughter, she's come a long way. And I wouldn't ask nobody to pay for no private school, but it's a private school, but it's a small Christian school is what it is. But she's came so far. She didn't even know how to write in cursive, and now she can write almost everything and read in cursive. So anything past that, it'd be for my children and their college fund, for their education now to then. And their college fund be put in their name, for when they get older. But I plan on donating 10% to cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, these female type cancers, and the awareness of it. So y'all check us out. Keep us in your thoughts and prayers. We appreciate it. Y'all have a good day. We'll go home and get some rest. Talk a little bit. Joni said how hard night was. Go through this line and get us a biscuit. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.